This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us for this first edition of CBN NewsWatch for Tuesday, June 4th. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, President Donald Trump in Britain trying to work out a new trade deal between the United States and United Kingdom for when the UK finally does leave the European Union. Congress launches an investigation into big tech companies. Many conservatives and Christians have complained their voices have been censored on social media. As Illinois passes a bill protecting abortion rights critics call extreme, we're going to have a look at the ongoing debate over media bias in abortion coverage. And our conversation with Southern Baptist President J.D. Greer about problems like abuse in churches, racism, evangelism, and much more. All those stories are ahead in this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We want to begin, though, with President Donald Trump in Britain today, meeting with outgoing Prime Minister Theresa May and top British business executives, urging May to, quote, stick around to work out a trade deal specifically between the United States and the United Kingdom. That deal would go into effect once or if the UK finally leaves the European Union after the Brexit vote. May has resigned because she couldn't work out a Brexit deal. The meeting today comes after President Trump's arrival Monday and a grand state dinner at Buckingham Palace. After today's focus on business and trade, the president will use the next 2 days to mark the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landing on June 6th, 1944. Here at home, big tech companies such as Google and Facebook are facing scrutiny on Capitol Hill. The House Judiciary Committee is launching a bipartisan investigation into competition in the digital industry. That comes after the Justice Department has already announced its own investigation into Google. Our Charlene Aaron is on this story.
Tech giants Facebook, Google, Amazon, and Apple at the center of the federal investigation by the U.S. government. In a statement, the House Judiciary Committee announcing a sweeping antitrust probe into big tech. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying in a tweet, unwarranted, concentrated economic power in the hands of a few is dangerous to democracy. The era of self-regulation is over. The probe will examine if tech companies are using anti-competitive practices, among other concerns. The investigation comes just days after reports that the Department of Justice is preparing to examine Google's internal practices and search rankings. Pressure has been mounting on the government to scrutinize the companies for some time. In the past, President Trump has accused the tech giants of suppressing voices, particularly Christian conservatives.
I think that Google and Twitter and Facebook, they're really treading on very, very troubled territory.
Many are not happy about being censored for simply posting conservative policies. Conservative Candace Owens was suspended from Facebook after she posted that liberal policies were harmful to the black family. Facing an outcry, Facebook claimed the suspension was a mistake.
They set up rules that are liberal. They hire staff who are liberal. The staff give politically to liberal candidates. And then when you appeal it, you have to talk to the liberal staff. And, it's just sort of, we're boxed in on all sides.
It's an issue that's aligning both Republicans and Democrats and has become a campaign talking point for Democrats running for president. Senator Elizabeth Warren blasting tech companies by putting up this billboard. The panel promises a sweeping review of market power held by technology giants that could result in a huge overhaul of antitrust regulations. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Virginia Beach officials released the resignation letter of the city employee who killed 12 coworkers at a municipal building Friday. The letter reads simply, "It has been a pleasure to serve the city, but due to personal reasons, I must leave my position." The letter gives no clue why he decided to attack his coworkers in that deadly mass shooting Friday afternoon. City officials say he was not facing any disciplinary action. Today, the city is reopening all municipal buildings except for Building 2, where police are still at work gathering evidence. Monday, the city held a service for city workers, giving them the opportunity to share their emotions and to receive counseling. Drew Langford, who works in Building 2, was out of the office when the attack happened.
My daughter, who's in Building 1 next door, called me. She's sobbing, and she's on the floor under her desk. And she goes, "You okay?" I'm saying, "Yeah, I'm starting to panic." Why? She goes, "They said there's an active shooter in Building 2.
Thursday, the city will host a memorial service for employees and citizens at Rock Church that is in Virginia Beach. Friday's mass shooting in Virginia Beach left a big hole in the community as 12 innocent lives were taken from families, friends, and the community. Mark Martin talked with those close to Kate Nixon, a woman of faith, devoted wife and mother.
12 white roses grace the sanctuary at St. Gregory the Great Catholic Church, each one representing a victim of Friday's mass shooting at the Virginia Beach Municipal Center. One honors Kate Nixon, a woman who attended services here and whose sister-in-law Mandy describes as selfless.
She's an amazing wife to my brother. I don't think anybody could ask for a better wife than Kate, or the kids a better wife or better mother than Kate. She's amazing. It's a huge loss for our family.
Kate was only 42 and leaves behind her husband Jason and 3 young daughters.
It's tough. Jason is struggling. He's fighting through. The kids, sorry.
It's okay. Mandy told us how on Friday Kate was able to contact Jason after being shot.
She had called him and she said, I've been shot. Can you call 911? And then my brother hung up, called 911 and tried to call her back.
It was the last time Jason and Kate spoke. According to Mandy, it does not appear Kate had any specific issues with the shooter, Dwayne Craddock.
I think just with his job projects and stuff that they had worked on and assisting him in those. But there wasn't anything that came back that he was going to harm anyone or threaten anyone. There was no red flag.
She was concerned about some of his behaviors from time to time, some of the interactions. I think it was mostly his skill related to the job. I don't think there was ever an exact workplace violent type of thing that you could see on a day-to-day basis.
Kate had served as an engineer with Virginia Beach Public Utilities for 10 years. Away from work, she was a devoted churchgoer.
So Pentecost Sunday is next Sunday, and I wanted to pray for the novena to the Holy Spirit, so I had published that. Today, that Friday, was the first day of that novena. And at about 4 o'clock, I get this little ding on my Facebook, and Kate had liked the post. And then 4:06, I understand Kate called Jason that she had been shot.
Kate attended church here for more than a decade, and for 3 years, Deacon Darrell says she sat under his leadership in a scripture study. Deacon Darrell says Kate was an enthusiastic, faithful attender of his Tuesday night small group here in this room. He says she would sit here in the front row and was really growing in her faith.
Kate wanted to share faith with other people. She was filling her life with scripture.
If you look in the eyes of the children, you'll see her legacy. If you look at her husband and her friends, you'll see her legacy. If you look at the work that she put in and the involvement in the church, you'll see her legacy. She touched people in a very special way.
Mark Martin, CBN News, Virginia Beach.
We turn now to Illinois, where the Senate voted 34-20 to pass a bill that critics call even more extreme than New York's infanticide law. Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker, who wants to make Illinois the most progressive in the nation regarding abortion, plans to sign it into law. It strips all rights from unborn children, changes the definition of a baby's viability, allows minors to obtain abortions without parental notification. It also requires insurance companies to cover it. Liberty Counsel founder and chairman Matt Staver said, This is a crime against humanity, yet tragically, Governor Pritzker brags about it. Pro-life advocates have often complained the major media are never on their side, but those in the media insist they're neutral. As Paul Strand now reports, their latest style guides and coverage don't appear to back up that contention.
Pro-life types bemoan the killing of more than 60 million unborn babies since the Supreme Court legalized nationwide abortion. But media types, like NPR, are telling their reporters that babies are not babies until they're born. They're fetuses. Appearing on CBN News' Faith Nation, Daily Signal commentator Jarrett Stepman quoted a recent New York Times opinion headline.
Abortion saves lives and pregnancy kills, which of course sounds, I think, to many to be very much Orwellian. But I think for many in the New York Times audience, that makes sense, especially how this issue is covered by the mainstream media, by the press in this country.
He and many in the pro-life movement find evidence the press favors one side.
Certainly the terminology is an important factor in this. NPR, National Public Radio, which of course gets public funding, recently had a set of guidelines that said to reporters, don't use terms like pro-life, don't use terms like partial birth or fetal heartbeat or things like this.
NPR said in a statement to CBN News, "We acknowledge that discussing divisive topics with both sensitivity and accuracy can be challenging. We're constantly evaluating best practices, and the language may evolve." In a debate where the terms pro-life and pro-choice have become taboo, NPR okays using anti-abortion rights, but not pro-abortion rights. Christian radio host Eric Metaxas says the sensitive subject should be addressed in real terms.
The people of America need to think about what happens during an abortion. We need to discuss it. It is gruesome. We need to face the gruesomeness of it.
But there's also what gets covered and what doesn't, like the annual National March for Life, which over the decades has become history's biggest ongoing demonstration.
It's attracted millions of people who have come out in support of this movement, and it gets almost no coverage at all from the press. This is a fairly large movement where we see so many smaller movements get enormous coverage from the press.
You certainly don't see the mainstream national media dealing with the recent physical or verbal assaults pro-life activists have faced outside abortion clinics or on college campuses.
Whether that is a conscious or unconscious bias, I think that bias is certainly there.
Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
A senior North Korean official reportedly sentenced to hard labor over the failed nuclear summit with the United States has been seen in a photo at a concert with Kim Jong-un. The news comes just a week after a South Korean newspaper reported another top official and 4 others from the North's foreign ministry for allegedly betraying Kim Jong-un after being won over by the United States. Analysts say because the communist nation closely guards its secrets, there are reasons to be cautious about the purported purge. South Korea's government and media have a mixed record on tracking developments from the North. Coming up, our CBN News interview with the president of the Southern Baptist Convention. The denomination faces a declining membership while it deals with difficult issues like abuse in the church and racism. We're going to have that interview when we come back.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com. Want to be a part of a community that inspires your spiritual growth while winning prizes? The all-new MyCBN app. Connect with the community for prayer and encouragement. Track and set spiritual goals. Enjoy conversation starters with friends and family. And collect points to win prizes. The all-new MyCBN app. A great place to belong. Download the app at cbn.com/mobile. Grow, connect, have fun. The all-new MyCBN app.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs, from health to entertainment, you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place, from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Check your local listings or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel, now available at cbnradio.com.
For the first time in 30 years, Southern Baptist membership has dropped below 15 million. The country's largest denomination is taking up the decline and other top issues ahead of this month's annual meeting. Heather Sells sat down with the president to talk about its path forward.
Southern Baptists are hard-pressed right now, not just with declining membership, but with some tough subjects like abuse and racism. Many of these issues will no doubt be addressed at their annual meeting in Birmingham, but President J.D. Greear wants to keep one issue above all.
There really is only one way that we see the church go forward, and it's putting the gospel above all and pushing evangelism as the task.
Greear literally practices what he preaches. His 10,000-member church encourages everyone to simply evangelize one person, and it seems to work. Under Greer's leadership, Summit Church has planted close to 300 churches in the U.S. and overseas. Putting the gospel first is also the focus of Greer's new book. It's a strategy he believes will inform and improve the way Southern Baptists view some of their thorniest issues.
What does it say about our gospel when we refuse to either deal with or create the structures necessary to prevent preying on the vulnerable, to prevent abuse?
New research shows that 1 in 3 Protestant churchgoers believe Church 2 has only begun, and that more church abuse cases have yet to be revealed. Greear says while he welcomes the spotlight, he cringed at a hard-hitting news report.
When I first heard about the Houston Chronicle article, my kind of gut reaction was to pray, Lord, protect our reputation, help the gospel not to go backwards, and help us to don't let people skew the information. And it was one of those moments where I felt the Spirit of God say to me, that's not what I want you to be praying. I'll guard your reputation. I want you to be willing to do whatever it takes to provide safety, a more safe environment for the victims and the vulnerable.
The Birmingham meeting will also discuss ways to combat racism and how best to elevate women in the church while maintaining traditional theology. While the 2020 election campaign will be informally debated, no high-profile political leader will be invited to speak this year. Greear says putting the gospel above all means Southern Baptists should be able to charitably disagree about their politics.
It's okay for different Christians to come to different conclusions. We can agree on the core issues, life, religious liberty, the empowerment of the poor, the equality of the races, the sanctity of marriage. We can agree on those things and even come to different conclusions about which particular candidate would be better for the country at this time.
He argues that even Jesus' disciples had different political beliefs, but kept the gospel first, and that made all the difference. Reporting in Durham, North Carolina, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Still ahead, you may have inherited some bad genes that could mean some health problems as you grow older. But you can overcome that with smart choices that can literally turn some bad genes off and turn on the good ones. We're going to have the story coming up next. Stay with us.
Remember for a moment what it was like to be a child. You believed every story you were told. You saw a world full of endless possibilities. What stories will the world's orphaned and at-risk children believe? We believe the Bible tells the only story truly worth believing. We believe that every child should have the opportunity to dream, the chance to take challenges and turn them into possibilities, the chance to stand on the promises of God, to recognize their place in the greatest story ever told. They have their whole lives ahead of them. Theirs is a world of endless possibilities. They are looking for a story to believe. We will tell them that story. Will you join us?
I got the
Though many of our health characteristics are in our genes, your DNA does not have to determine your destiny, because our actions can turn bad genes off and turn the good ones on. As Lori Johnson now shows us, medical science has a name for that: epigenetics.
Thanks to these new DNA home test kits, you can learn all about your genes and various health issues just by filling one of these tubes with saliva and sending it to the lab. While those results may reveal a lot, they don't always tell the whole story. Expert Dr. Michael Roizen of the Cleveland Clinic compares epigenetics to a light switch. Our behavior can silence our genes or activate them.
And which of your genes are on or not are, to a large degree, your choices by things you do. So, is epigenetics important? Absolutely.
Our DNA is made up of genes. Our behavior, such as what we eat, smoke, even think, dispatch markers to the top of our DNA, which tell our genes to turn on or off.
So if you're stressed and not managing it, you're going to turn certain genes on that cause inflammation.
Even pregnant mothers can affect their baby's genes, such as those that retain fat.
If you don't get enough food during pregnancy, your body, the baby's body, if you will, says, hey, I'm going to come out to an environment that's sparse in food, so I'm going to turn on the genes that allow me to save food and be, if you will, very efficient. That means that when you eat food after you're born, you're going to gain a lot more weight.
The reverse is also true. Even if a female is unhealthy before pregnancy, she can turn things around for her offspring if she adopts a healthier lifestyle while she's pregnant. The new field of epigenetics began in 2003 here at Duke University. Dr. Randy Jertle proved DNA is not destiny with his landmark agouti mouse study. The mice carried the agouti gene, causing obesity, diabetes, and jaundice. But when Jertle fed pregnant females lots of vitamins, her offspring ended up thin, healthy, and brown.
I feel like we've made a contribution to science that will be there literally forever.
Dr. Jertle compares epigenetics to programming a computer.
The deterministic part in our system is the DNA. That's the stable part. The free will part comes in through the software that tells that deterministic system how to work. We are, in effect, a programmable computer. That's how we were made.
And the behavior of both parents can alter their child's gene expression, and sometimes these changes stick.
You can see that, in effect, what God, I think, was telling us is that this is the way you're made. And if you mess with this system, you're not going to alter the genome so much, but you're going to alter your programs. And those, since they're not totally erased necessarily from generation to generation as they go through the egg and the sperm, can literally give rise to problems in the next generation, in the following, out the 4 and 5 generations.
As epigenetics research proceeds, scientists hope to pinpoint how specific areas of the genome are affected. Still, one thing's for certain: lifestyle choices can bring out the best or worst in our DNA across multiple generations.
Now, for more important information on your health, be sure to check out the Healthy Living Show at 9:30 Eastern on the CBN News Channel. Coming up, we're going to have some good news about a man who was going to kill himself until a man stopped him and shared the gospel with him. Now he's taken a major step into his own faith. We're going to show you when we come back.
We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
As the nations rage, you can stand with Israel.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
Call 1-800-700-7000 and get to life.
This is our nature as a country.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he have, which color he is, this is what I'm doing.
Support Israel in their time of need. Get to Life, now available on DVD. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
And I wish that other people throughout the world could see this side of Israel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
Get the top political news and analysis from Washington on Faith Nation, tonight at 6 Eastern, only on the CBN News Channel.
We have an update to a miraculous story we told you about just a few weeks ago. Back in April, Jacob Palmer was poised to jump from a bridge in Virginia Beach when a Good Samaritan intervened. Colin Dozier shared the gospel with Palmer and was able to pull him to safety. The ministry has since continued. Palmer was baptized Sunday at the Virginia Beach oceanfront, and Dozier took part in that special ceremony. Palmer said it was a day that he will never forget, and he thanked Dozier for showing him the way. Beautiful. Time now for your Tuesday Tweetable, and I leave you with this message to post, tag, tweet, and share with those in your circle. God is calling you to do something no one else has done at a time when no one else can do it. He is waiting on you. Let today be the day you answer his call. With that word, make today a terrific Tuesday, and what remains of this week a wonderful one. That is going to do it for this first edition of CBN NewsWatch. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can find more on the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. You can also watch CBN News programs anytime throughout the day on the CBN News channel. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that by emailing us. The address is newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at any time. Again, hope you'll join us again right here next time. Goodbye and God bless everybody.